This is my friend Brian Hicks, and he's going to tell us a little about his life. He's a very interesting guy.
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Hicks, let's start off. Where were you born?
Augsburg, Germany, 1972.
1972. Tell me about a little bit about your childhood.
It was just like anybody else's, fighting with siblings. Well, I had one older brother, but not that. That was just a dark chapter of it. And fighting with family, like all normal people go through when growing up. And but on the good note in childhood, I was playing hooky so I could go skiing with my dad on the ski slopes, and my dad would write me a teacher's note for real. Problem was getting home and having to catch up on the homework that I missed out on. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I loved snow skiing when I was growing up, and now I can't do it no more because I'm 50 now.
So what was the worst time in your childhood? Tell me about the worst experience in your childhood.
Getting bullied by my older brother.
What happened there?
Ah, man, let's not get into it. Can we talk about positive things?
Okay.
All right.
Who's the most influential person in your life?
I would say Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Why?
For real? I don't know, because I was a bodybuilder growing up. And that's how I attained all my body strength. Upper body strength is by lifting weights when I was young, getting in shape, and it never left me. So now, as a result, I channeled that. Arnold Schwarzenegger was always a good role model for me. He started up his career in Venice Beach, California, migrated from Austria. Another one of my role models was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, who's a famous classical musician who showed brilliant talent since he was very young, and the parents didn't even know that he had it. But Arnold Schwarzenegger and Mozart both, I would say, are on an equal level. And ironically, they're both from the same country, Austria. It's real.
What is your profession and why?
I'm a mover, and I explained why. Because I was a bodybuilder when I was younger. Hard to believe my fat boy looking stuff can move things, but I can. I can pick up objects with 2 fingers and raise them over my head that weigh at least 150 pounds, no problem.
What is the happiest time in your life?
I would say getting off for parole.
Okay.
Yeah, because all my life I played around with explosives and thought that since I wasn't hurting anybody, I would be okay. I had a rude awakening, okay? And so but I always liked just science in general. And I'd say to answer your question, the happiest time of my life was being released off of state parole, because then you don't have somebody following you around in a vehicle, seeing if you're trying to take a drink or something like that. And we all realize that we're grown people, and if you decide to take a drink, well, whatever you decide to do, as long as it's not hurting anybody, so what? That's what I think anyway. Next question.
All right, tell me about a time in your life where you didn't think you were going to make it.
Or I didn't think that I was going to make it. In what way?
You thought you were going to have to give up on life.
Like die?
Yeah.
How about having a massive asthma attack? And you think you're going to check out? When you have a massive asthma attack, that's like somebody strangling you and not letting you up because you can't breathe. And it feels like, this is what it feels like. It feels like you're being teleported, like Star Trek, out of this world into another realm when you're about to die, for real. And you may even hallucinate too. They call it DMT. It's in the pineal gland of the brain. Scientifically proven that this stuff exists. And they think that it's there to just detach you from the reality of about to be dead. So what happens when you go through a DMT trip from your own body, you see things like tunnels of light and walls disappearing and separating the layers and so forth anyway. But yeah, I thought I was going to die a few times, and it was from asthma. And I think I was hitting a vape pen, actually, and it cut off my air supply, and I fell down. I didn't even know what happened, but I woke up with my nose busted, and then other times asthma would just come on to me naturally, and then I'd just be gagging all the way up to the ER. But now the doctors are treating me for it, so I don't have a problem too much anymore. I fabricated some stuff in addition to what the doctors are prescribing me, but yeah, it's terrible. All right, next question.
Tell me about the love of your life. And where did y'all meet?
That would be Lala right now. They call her Lala. I don't want to tell out her full name because she says she don't want her business being told out. But it's a daughter of somebody that I've known. I used to mess with the mama a long time ago and wouldn't get none. But she was grown when I met Lala, she was just a young girl, so I didn't want to, really mess with her. And now she's a grown woman. That's a totally different story. She's like 33. I just bumped into her last spring, and I'm just like, wow, so infatuated with her. And I even asked you if you would marry us, and you said yes. And so, yeah, I know I got to pay the price by going to your church, listen to you, but that's okay. I'll do that. Can you marry us still? What do you think?
There's a strong possibility.
All right, go ahead.
What's your passion or favorite hobby?
I used to be into piano real heavily. I got one right in there, and I like chemistry. I like science, as mentioned, and I failed in chemistry because I didn't prep for it, but there's some things that I understand really well in science. I understand how gravity works and which lends into moving and so forth. You hear me?
Yep.
And then piano though, all my life, but then that somehow grew old to me. And I used to like making explosives just for fun. And before explosives came about, I was always playing with model rockets. Rocketry. And then I realized that you can make your own rocket fuel out of common stuff like MacGyver. You couldn't take cane sugar and mix it with some stump remover and have rocket fuel. And then all you have to, man, I just love playing with chemicals. And then I learned that, to word it right, you don't have to be a terrorist per se, but most human beings, if they're making explosives, they want to hurt somebody. You know what I mean? But in essence, it's a form of energy when you make an explosive. You know what I mean? Or a lot of people don't realize it, but a motor vehicle runs off a sequence of explosions. And so if you're experimenting with energetic materials, that's the right way to say it. Because, when dynamite was invented, I guess they didn't have terrorists at the time. But without dynamite, the West wouldn't be here today. So science is a very important part of my life. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Right. What do you like to waste your money on the most?
Do we really need to go there? Okay, this is the way I see it, that every man pays for sex, even a married man. It's either going to be in the post-mortem, that's payment plan C. He's either going to be retail, like me, which means you're going to pay as you go, like a track phone. You run out of minutes, service disconnected, right? And then there's payment plan B, which is where you're paying the bills every month and just hoping you're going to get you some. But see, the advantage with buying hookahs is they get to leave when you're done. You know what I mean? It's just you know what I mean? You get to have your solitude. They call me the Unabomber for real. You get to have your solitude. You don't got to hear a bunch of, that distracts you from your mission. And it is true, proven fact, Nikola Tesla, that true intelligent minds, they don't want to be around people. They don't want married life. They just want to be by themselves. But I want to migrate from being a loner to having one soulmate. And I already told you who that would be. Right.
That's good. Hey, we appreciate your time, Brian.
Are you done?
Yes. Well, thanks for sharing your story.
Wait.
We got one more say.
You asked me, where does most of my money go?
Yeah.
I would say that's about 50% hookahs, all right? And I guess I'm telling on myself here, but they haven't kicked in my door yet for doing it. So, but I say a lot of my money goes back into my moving business, okay?
Right.
And I hope these answers your question. I got to buy equipment. I got to buy fuel. And then I got to take care of my dad that's financing me. So if you had a pie graph, I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like thirds, all right? A third go to hookahs, a third go to business expenses, and then a third go back to my family that helped me dream. They're building my dream now, and they actually advanced me money. And I love my dad, even though he was kind of a bully too growing up, but he realizes that I dreamt something up that works, so he's investing in me. God bless you.
Thank you for your time, Brian.
All right, goodbye.